What is up, guys? So today we will talk about Draenei and Blood Elves, which are the new races coming in the TBC Prepatch. The TBC Prepatch won't last for too long, so time is of the essence when it comes to leveling up these new races, which is why I wanted to make a video covering how to level up these races as fast as possible. I have mentioned a couple of tips and tricks about this before in other preparation videos for the TBC Prepatch, but I figured I would also make a complete video talking about only this topic, so it's easier for those of you planning to level up those new races to actually find the information. So first off, let's talk about the things you can do right now to set yourself up for when the TBC Prepatch actually does come out, so you're good to go on your journey to reach level 60 before TBC comes out. So the first thing we'll talk about here is Enchants, and you can actually start grabbing some very good Enchants that will make your leveling process a lot faster. These enchants are incredibly useful, and for example having plus 30 spell power will mean you will one-shot things at level 1, but as you go up in levels and fight stronger enemies, the benefit of that enchant will also diminish. By enchanting the right weapons though, you can keep that enchant for the entirety of your leveling process, like for example enchanting plus 30 spell power to a skinning knife can carry you all the way to level 60 without ever having to change out that skinning knife. It is a little bit different from melee classes that to some extent do depend on your actual weapon damage, but a skinning knife with fiery weapon can easily carry you to level 15 or 20, at which point you can change it out for a green or blue weapon and enchant that weapon with fiery weapon as well. Fiery weapon is incredibly cheap to enchant, and on my server it costs you 10 gold for the materials for the enchant, so having to change it out every 10 or 20 levels is absolutely not a problem, and the boost it gives you while leveling is absolutely insane, and especially at earlier levels having this insane edge over other players is crucial to get ahead of the pack. As a paladin you could for example start out with a fiery weapon enchant on a white sword, like for example the Fine Scimitar, instead of a skinning knife. Then once you get to level 10 or 15 you can switch that out for a two-handed weapon. Past level 21 it is recommended for paladins to go with the weapon damage enchant, as that benefits them more than the fiery weapon due to how their seals work. As an enhancement shaman I would recommend going with fiery weapon on both your weapons all the way to level 60 once you get access to dual wield, and as an elemental shaman just grab a skinning knife with spell power. Another enchant I would really recommend you grab is the speed enchant on the boots. So just enchant a white pair of boots that are not bound on equip with speed. That movement speed will benefit you a lot more than you think. You can also grab agility enchant on gloves, health or stats on chests, or stamina or intellect on bracers as well, if you really want to min-max with those enchants. On top of all of this you can also have multiple BOE items you can cash out for, if you want some big upgrades sporadically throughout your leveling process, and planning for big upgrades at certain level brackets might be handy, so you don't have to go out of your way to chase quests or dungeon rewards for upgrades. This will however cost you quite a bit of gold, so it's probably not for everyone. The next thing I would say if you care about speed leveling is to get yourself out of the Draenei and Blood Elf starting zone. In the pre-patch there will be a lot of people leveling up these new races, so the starting zones for these races will be insanely crowded, and you will have to fight over mob tags. As a Draenei you can easily get yourself to the Night Elf starting zone instead, and as a Blood Elf you can easily get yourself to the Undead starting zone. If you have a friend that wants to help summon you over there, or if you have several accounts yourself, you can summon yourself to a different starting zone. That's even better, but if I was leveling a Draenei and I just saw the starting zone was pretty full of people, I would just make a run for the boat and go to the Night Elf starting zone instead. Same thing as a Blood Elf, I would make a run for it and go to the Undead starting zone. For those of you who might not have played these races before, Draenei can take a boat over to the Night Elf starting zone, and this boat is located right outside the Exodar. The Blood Elves can use an orb inside Silvermoon to teleport themselves to Undercity as well. So when it comes to the leveling process itself, that's really up to you. Mage boosting will still likely be a thing, and if you have a friend that is willing to boost you for free, that is brilliant, or if you have a lot of leftover gold you can also pay for boosts. You can also dungeon grind, which is a really strong way of leveling up, especially if you can find a good group for it. The thing you want to think about here is group composition. So for example, either go with a spell cleave group, AoE group, or melee cleave group where you can chain pull mobs with minimal downtime. For those of you who played at Classic WoW's the release, just think about the Scarlet Monastery farming groups. Apart from that, I would really recommend doing questing, because first of all there's less experience needed per level in a TBC pre-patch, so leveling in general will feel faster, and the fact that you can also level up faster also means less traveling from zones to zones, and less downtime in between levels. For example, right now in Classic WoW, if you want to quest, you might have to start in Westfall, then you run out of quests and you have to go to Loch Modan, then Darkshore, then Ashenvale, then Redridge Mountains, then Westfall again, so there's a lot of traveling. But with the TBC pre-patch, since there's less experience needed per level, you will get more level value out of each zone, so you might have to travel way less, which makes questing a lot more faster, and in my opinion, more fun as well. There's also more singular quests being added to the game in a TBC pre-patch, as well as more actual quest hubs as well, so in general, questing will be easier and faster. If you are planning on leveling by questing, I would recommend following a questing guide or a leveling add-on, because knowing where to go and when to go there is absolutely crucial if you want to be as efficient as possible. That is where the new leveling guide add-on called Rested XP comes in, as this add-on is developed by 5 speed leveling masterminds that each hold different world records within speed leveling, and the brilliant thing about this add-on is that it's tailored for questing, and it's tailored for leveling fast, and by following this guide any class should be able to level from 1 to 60 in less than 4 days of played time. You can also try the guide out for free from level 1 to 30, which is absolutely brilliant because then you can see for yourself how the guide actually works, and you can test it out before buying the full version. One thing I will say about leveling guides is that it's best to follow them from start to finish, but this one is made in a way that even if you break away from the guide for a couple of levels, for a dungeon or two, you can still easily get back on track with the guide itself. Personally, when I level up a new character, especially in Classic WoW, where leveling up a character takes a lot of time, having a guide to follow makes me a lot more efficient, and overall it just feels better because it's such a massive game, and sometimes it's very easy to get lost if you don't know where to go. So check out Rested XP through the link in the description, as well as a pinned comment. This is a leveling guide in-game add-on I really believe in, and I hope you guys will like it as well. Apart from that, I don't really have anything else to say about leveling in the TBC pre-patch, because when it all boils down to it, I want you to play the game the way you want to play, and I also want you to level up the way you want to level, but I also wanted to give some tips and tricks in case you want to min-max a little bit. Enchanting your weapon with fire weapon will cost you next to no gold whatsoever, and the same with minor speed enchant on boots as well, and the help you will get from those enchants more than makes up for the cost of getting them. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to give it a like for the YouTube algorithm, and make sure you subscribe to the channel as well, as I will be uploading a lot more TBC content and you don't want to miss it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.